Welcome everyone to the National Wetland Awards for 2022 as we recognize the winner in the category Science and Research, Erwin Sieben. Erwin, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very honored to win the award for the wetlands wetland research.
Excellent. Erwin, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up and what was the education path that you followed to get to where you are today?
Okay, I did my biology degree in Wageningen Agricultural University. I'm from Holland, and after I finished my degree there, I was a bit bored with Europe. I thought like there's too many biologists here doing it's quite a high density, and I wanted to explore a bit the bigger world out there, and I wanted to see pristine, large-scale ecosystems.
Okay.
And the first thing that really struck me was like, oh, the fynbos biome in South Africa, extreme high diversity. That was a thing that really appealed to me. And then I got the opportunity to get a bursary for a PhD in Stellenbosch. And I started out that PhD just with the idea, like, I just want to explore the fynbos.
Yes, yeah.
In the beginning, I was not really sort of even focused on the research. Like, it was just like getting getting publications out and all that. So yeah, I eventually I got my PhD degree, and then I realized, like, yeah, how do I stay in South Africa? Because it was in the late 90s. It was a bit like, yeah, I realized I can live here. I like this country. This works for me.
Okay. Yes.
And then I realized, like, there's a red line through all the work that I've done in my career. And it's about wetlands and water, because in Holland I had worked on floodplains.
Yes.
South Africa had worked on rivers. And then eventually in 2005, there was a wetlands conference in the Netherlands, and there I met with Fred Ellery.
Yes.
And he invited me to come back to South Africa to do a postdoc on wetland restoration. And yeah, that's where I really realized, like, yeah, wetlands is my core of my expertise. And yeah, when I had my postdoc with Fred Ellery, that year I was just exploring so much. I got to know so many. That's where I got to know the wetlands community in South Africa, and yeah, I really got into the thick of it, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, since then I've been really trying to get an overview over wetlands for the whole country, for South Africa. Because I realized there were still a lot of gaps in knowledge at that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, there were very good intentions. I really wanted to do something about wetland restoration, and people had the understanding these are critical ecosystems. But yeah, there were still clear gaps, and that's where I saw a research niche for myself and say, like, okay, I'm going to continue this. And then eventually I found a job at the University of the Free State. And yeah, that's where I sort of expanded on basically the work that I did with Fred before.
Excellent. Well, that's a fascinating journey. So all I can say is welcome to South Africa. We're glad to have you, and we're glad to actually.
Yeah, okay. It's also a good branding. I'm from Holland, so Holland is the whole country is one big wetland.
Yeah, true.
And so the thing is, it's like a fish doesn't know about the water. So in South Africa, I really learned, like, the delineation of a wetland, like the park areas that are not wetland. But for like, as a Dutchman in South Africa, I think it also the wetlands fits well with my brand.
Brilliant.
A lot of Dutch people are water experts all over the world. So.
True. I know that what you've just mentioned now, you found your niche and things like that, looking at wetlands. But was there something that inspired you to go particularly into wetlands? What was it potentially about the ecosystem that it is that sparked something in your head that it was a special niche or a gap area that you wanted to go into?
Yeah, as I say, I think that is because growing up in Holland, you don't because everything is a wetland. So the thing is, the things that are the like as a biologist, I always was interested in life forms, and
Yeah, yeah.
I did sort of also research on amphibian pools, for example, in my municipality.
Okay.
I made a plan for the municipality about like where are different amphibian pools and can amphibians migrate. So I've always been around that water realm with all
Yeah,
the animals also that fascinated me, frogs.
yeah.
Yeah, then in Europe you also have the salamanders, the newts,
Yes, yes, sure.
and dragonflies. So I was always fascinated with that watery realm. Um, yeah, so and especially that edge of small fence in my area in Holland, there was these small fence. There are also all kind of different types of wetlands, and of course, in South Africa, I learned to really appreciate the wide range of
Yeah,
wetlands that exist. And but yeah, it's in the end, it is the life forms, even with plants like orchids, sedges. They've been my most yeah, favorite plant groups are also all wetland
plants.
uh,
Yeah.
associated.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Erwin, I believe you're now with the University of KZN. Can you just tell us a little bit about the organization that you're with and what is it that you do there?
Okay, yeah. So initially, my postdoc that I started out in 2005 with Fred Ellery, then it was at KZN. It's a big institution. It's a very large university with 5 campuses. And when I did my postdoc, I was at Howard College campus. But after that, then the merger has taken place. So now I got back to Westfield campus.
Okay.
Um, yeah, there has always been a lot of yeah, quite important applied ecological research that has been taking place at UKZN. Yeah, I think, for example, also Donovan Kotz was
Yes.
associated with
Yeah.
UKZN as well. They had in Pietermaritzburg, they had this Center for the Ecology and the Environment, or something. No, sorry, that's a different name, but I think Center for Environmental Management.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And now there's sort of a Center for Functional Biodiversity has now also started. The hub of this is mostly in Pietermaritzburg, actually, but yeah, in Durban, there's also a number of people active in ecology and environmental issues as well. And I'm in the School of Agricultural, Earth and Environmental Sciences, which is also mostly based in Pietermaritzburg, but I'm in the Westfield campus in the Department of Geography
Okay. Awesome.
now. So I also made the transition from biology to geography recently.
Yes. Yeah, we've seen that with a couple of people.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. Erwin, okay. Is there a favorite wetland type that you have and where is it located? But from what you've said earlier on, you love the entire water sphere. But is there something in South Africa or a place that is special to you in terms of a wetland?
There would be several. It's like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to really rank them. But when I did the analysis of vegetation types in wetlands across the country, I came across a few. Like generally, what I like is rich ecosystems,
Yeah.
which are very
Okay.
very rich in species. So there were a number of wetlands, and these are the wetlands where I feel really at home, like peatlands in the KwaZulu-Natal coastal plain, Maputo land.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then there's the montane springs in the Drakensberg, like
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
they're very rich. And then there is in the Western Cape, actually the lowlands, the Renosterveld wetlands there. I haven't seen those for quite a long time now, but there also some extremely rich systems on the like the Brede River near Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some very nice systems there.
Brilliant.
And
Okay.
and I've also spent quite a bit of time in Palmyte.
Yes.
meet wetlands, and
Yes.
also really enjoyed that they look so exotic. They should look like unworldly, sort of like
Okay.
that's yeah. I really like those systems as well.
Brilliant. Erwin, is there something as a highlight in your career that stands out for you in terms of maybe some specific research that you've done, or something interesting, or something that stands out in terms of what you've studied over the years, whether it be here in South Africa or anywhere else in the world? Is there something that stands out for you?
Yeah, I think to me what the standing out was my opportunity to get the Water Research Commission funding to make a survey of all the wetlands in South Africa. And yeah, everybody at that time thought like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do this. There's too much variation. There's too many species involved. But this was the sort of thing that I was really, yeah, you must also, as I said, you must find a niche. You must
Yes.
find something that you can do and that other people cannot do. People were a bit overwhelmed by it, and I took it on, and it was an opportunity for me to travel all across the country
Sure.
and to see all kind of different systems, which is why I can now also make that sort of comparison. Like those are the websites that I like most. And yeah, I was just curious. As a scientist, I'm just curious, driven by my curiosity, and I was curious about what does it look like. I know, like on paper, like yeah, wetlands can be everywhere. They can be, so you must visit everywhere. You must actually go everywhere. I
Sure.
did go into the dry areas in the Karoo where people like initially, like the first time there was a wetlands in Daba organized in the Northern Cape. It was like, yeah, actually this is a dry province. We know there's a lot of wetlands here, but we actually know nothing about them.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I enjoyed that. That to me, that was like really, that was the highlight of my career. Just being able to visit everywhere, to see all the different types of wetlands, and it
Amazing.
created an overview that I think is now that I'm still working on, basically, like because like once you've seen the broad spectrum of all the different habitat types that exist, that's
Yeah.
where you can start make generalized statements about them.
Sure.
And
Okay.
yeah, I always noticed before I did that work, there were a lot of generalized statements that people made, but basically based on a lack of data. It was always very
Yeah.
poor
Yes.
judgment. So, like, yeah, to be able to go all around and not just learn from books and things, but actually see the wetlands in real life. Yes, that was really. I feel very, very fortunate and privileged that I've been able to get that perspective. And yeah, at this moment, I'm trying to make a book on wetland plants in South
Okay.
Africa,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
putting it together. And so I'm trying to sort of convey that idea and
Yes.
make other people also enthusiastic for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Erwin, obviously one of the things we've got to look at is science and research for young wetlanders that are coming up and wanting to take on wetlands and things like that. I think it's one of the things that the society and the community needs to look at. We need to create that space and opportunity for young wetlanders to come through. But for someone who's wanting to go into the science of wetlands, etc., do you have any suggestions or sort of tips for those people that are wanting to go into the science realm of wetlands? Is there some help that you could give them or some guidance?
Yeah, one thing that I'm at this moment, and I think it's quite complex, but wetlands are very dynamic ecosystems. So one thing that I'm trying to also basically with the book that I'm busy writing is to get people active in citizen science. So
Yes.
also like
Yeah.
that's like which creates a sort of a like it must be made easier, so the threshold to get more people involved. So I make strongly use of iNaturalist also in creating the book, and also yeah, that's something that I think like that young people have available, that they can access a lot of data at this stage. But yeah, also the monitoring over a year. So the reason why I think it should be important that people can know the wetland plants across the country is that they can monitor changes in specific wetlands. So and that is more complicated than, yeah, because now this year we have a wet year again.
Yes.
And yeah, general the prediction is okay, climate change means maybe things are getting drier. But yeah, it also depends season by season. So you actually need quite a long timeline of data before you can really draw conclusions like about what is happening in the system as a result of climate change.
Yes. Okay.
Of course, climate change is not the only threat to the wetland systems. So there's other, agricultural use. So like I think the most important thing to get into wetlands is this thing of monitoring and trying to disentangle the dynamism, like the natural fluctuations from actual trends. And yeah, I think that's I think is the biggest challenge that wetlands researchers, young wetland researchers need to start to get their work in.
Erwin, thank you very much for your time today. It's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. And thank you for sharing your life story in a nutshell with us this morning. And once again, just congratulations on winning the award for this year, and look forward to seeing you at the Indaba next week.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'll see you there, and I look forward to meeting everybody again, because I think, yeah, the wetlands in Indaba for a few years was also a bit, just like the whole of society was a bit further down. But yeah, to me, this was for most of the years that, especially when I was for my Water Research Commission work, was the highlight of the year, always to meet with the whole wetland community and taking students with to the Indaba as well. I have a student presenting next week as well.
Brilliant. Okay. So it's good that we can actually get back to meeting again. I think COVID was a very difficult time. But yes, we look forward to seeing you. And so thank you very much for your time, and look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.